Wow, from Daryl LaMonica to Cliff Branch bringing us back in, the late, great Cliff Branch, which was, again, sad. I hate to think that he's gone. He was such a good dude.
Yep.
We had him here in the studio, got to wear a Super Bowl ring, a picture that I will cherish, and a guy who changed the game, no doubt.
And everybody we talked to, Daryl just now talking about him. You can hear him glowing when they start bringing up Cliff Branch.
Oh, of course, and how he changed the game, the vertical game in the NFL. Never was the same again.
Right.
Never was the same
Even
again.
better person
Track
off
guys.
the field than he was on.
Absolutely. Somebody who's definitely better off the air than on the air. Oh, just kidding. Poor Kelly. We're abusing Kelly today, aren't we?
I've got my moments.
You do have your moments, and we appreciate that, of course. But we now go to one of the favorite parts of the show for everybody, including myself, and that is where Kelly picks a random subject that he decides could be football related, could be sports related, it could be anything related. I'm hoping it's not coronavirus related. Mr. Kelly Kriner.
Everybody knows that person that kind of like tells a lie, but then they get so entrenched in that lie they start to believe it themselves. Sean Payton and the Saints have been lying to themselves for so long about Taysom Hill being a good football player.
Oh, the tag.
That they're supposedly putting a first round tender because they're afraid somebody else is going to go after Taysom Hill and they don't want to lose him. You've got a team that's got some minor salary cap issues in a 1-year window of one more Super Bowl run, spending $5 million on a backup quarterback who they don't trust to be their backup quarterback. We know this because when Drew Brees got hurt, and who played in those games?
Teddy.
Not Taysom Hill. So you're telling us, and the best thing ever, Sean Payton, he reminds me of Steve Young. Yeah, you know what? He does remind me of Steve Young for 2 reasons. One, he played quarterback at BYU, and both of them have 10 letters in their names. Now, while you're doing the math and adding those up to make sure that's right, I've got some more numbers for you.
Dun-da-da.
Let's talk about Taysom Hill's prolific passing numbers. Okay, he has 119 passing yards. There are more yards in a restraining order than in his career. He has
More yards. Okay, go ahead.
You get the joke, right?
I do. It's awesome.
Okay, yeah. He has just as many completions as Tom Brady has Super Bowl rings. That would be 6. His career touchdowns. Jameis Winston had more 0 interception games this year than Taysom Hill has career touchdowns. Harry and the Hendersons has more Oscars than Taysom Hill has touchdown passes. Matt Hack threw 1 more touchdown pass last year than Taysom Hill has in his career. Matt Hack is the punter for the Miami Dolphins. More people named Neil have stepped on the moon than have Taysom Hill touchdown passes.
I feel like the scene, Chad, in Animal House where John Belushi's saying when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
Forget it, he's rolling.
He's rolling, yes. Keep going, Kelly.
Taysom Hill had more season-ending injuries in college than he has career touchdowns. He had 4. He has 3 touchdowns. And my favorite one, I've seen Haley's Comet more often, and I've seen Haley's Comet more often, and I've seen it sooner than I've seen a Taysom Hill touchdown pass. But this is the guy you're putting a first-round tender on because you're afraid somebody's going to steal him.
Well, because John Gruden was going to steal him to replace Derek Carr. Didn't you know that?
John Gruden's stealing everybody to replace Derek Carr. And guess what? When John Gruden gets that guy that eventually replaces Carr, he's going to look to replace that guy too.
Yep, immediately.
John Gruden's that married guy that looks at every woman that walks by. He's not going to cheat.
Oh.
He's not going to cheat, but he ain't going to stop looking.
He's going to flirt.
He's a window shopper.
Well, that was definitely one of the more epic Kelly's corners. I mean, this will be a separate video up on YouTube, by the way, because it's that good.
I'm not done.
Okay. Part 2. Get your hot dog, your intermission, and we begin part 2.
They gave him the Swiss Army knife nickname, which the Swiss Army knife of football, which, I mean, that's the dumbest thing ever. But then I was like, no, that actually fits Taysom Hill. Because, Taysom Hill does a little bit of everything, like a Swiss Army knife, but also like a Swiss Army knife. Every single thing that's on there it doesn't work very well, and it's easily replaced by the actual thing that you can use. You know those little scissors on a Swiss Army knife?
Oh,
they don't cut very well.
They don't.
Do you know how easy it is to find scissors? They're everywhere. You know the little wine cork that's on there? You know how hard it is to open a bottle of wine with a Swiss Army knife? It's pretty simple with an actual wine cork. You know, the knives that are on there, oh yeah, you can cut something, barely. Do you know how easy it is to find a knife that will actually cut something? Yeah. I mean, think about it. Everything you have on there, oh, it's handy. Cool, it's handy, but it doesn't do anything and it's easily replaced. Just like Taysom Hill.
Are you saying that Nathan Peterman's a better quarterback than Taysom Hill?
No. Neither's Deshaun Kaiser. Guess what? Neither one of those guys should be in the NFL. Neither one of those guys is getting a first-round tender. Neither one of those guys is making $5 million.
But do you think Sean Payton did this because he thinks that there are people stupid enough?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's told himself so often this guy can be a starting quarterback. He's buying into his own BS at this point. He's lied to himself so often that it's in his mind. Hey, I might be right about this. And I got some news for you. No, you're not. If you thought he could be the next Steve Young, he would have had more than 13 pass attempts in 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
He's 6 of 13 for 119, 0 touchdowns and 1 interception.
What do you
That's
think?
an Army football game.
What do you think, Chaz?
Those are Tim Tebow numbers.
Tim Tebow threw for 300 yards and won a playoff game.
I
You
feel
know what
like- I feel
Taysom
like-
Hill's
I
never
think-
done?
I feel
Won
like-
a playoff game.
I think we need a breakdown on Taysom Hill from Chaz now.
No. I think that they keep him as a backup. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Bridgewater, right?
Bridgewater's gone.
Yeah, he's gonna
So that's probably their thinking as well. We do need a backup. You know, Breeze already said it's Saints or nothing.
Yeah, let's bring in a guy we don't trust to play quarterback.
Well, I'm guessing that Breeze, you know, he's been an Iron Man, obviously, except for last year. He's played, 20 years. I'd take him right now, maybe over Carr. I'd rather have Breeze. But
did you see that, by the way? Remember that? Kelly and I were talking about this the other day. The good writer, and some people will disagree, but the good writer Josh DeBro up at the AP in the Bay Area has been putting out stats, kind of laying a case for why the Raiders might be replacing Derek Carr. Mm-hmm. And you can do a lot with stats, but some of his stuff. So he was going back and forth with people, and I'm not going to get into that piece of it, pro anti-Carr stuff.
Right.
But the one thing that I will say is that there are people out there who were arguing that with the right talent around him, Derek Carr would have been better than Drew Brees, which I think is the most ridiculous argument. I don't care how many stats you pull out of your backside.
Right.
Come on, guys.
Well, if you're just looking
that's not against Derek Carr. That's just, come on, guys.
if you're looking at 2016, right, and then you just repeat that every year, and then, of course, you're going to have
If you look at 2016, he's still not in the ballpark of Drew Brees.
Well, if he does that for 20 years. But, like I always say, every front office is constantly evaluating the team preseason, during, after the season. There's no off time. You roll right into the combine, free agency, the draft. You're constantly looking at players and trying to upgrade the positions of need. So, as we do it, casual fans do it. You'll sit here and say, oh, this guy sucks. This guy, I'd like to replace this guy. And so right now, that's what the general manager, that's what these guys are doing. They're up there in the offices and, okay, here's plan A. We go after Drew Brees. Well, maybe they just found out Drew Brees said, it's Saints or nothing. Okay, so cross that out. Plan B, we keep Carr. We bring in backup Mariota, something to push him. Or, plan C, we keep Carr. We draft a young guy. Okay, plan D, Tom Brady. And now, okay, let's go into Tom Brady. And so you're looking at all these, it's an ever evolving, it's extremely fluid. It never stops.
Right.
It's an evolving situation. You're always exploring all these options. New information's coming in. So you're gathering, you're processing, you're trying to, you want to, every second of every day, you're thinking, how can we make this team better?
Right. And what does stop, though, is us, because we got to take a break. When we come back, let's pick that back up, Chaz. We'll talk a little more.
Wait a minute.
And Kelly's got to get some oxygen after that, Kelly's Corner. You're listening to